Alright guys, we're back here. We're back with part 2 of Gary's family story. I'm going to try to narrate our way through and be as, close to 10 minutes in, uh, on all of the videos that I'm going to post in the near future. This is part 2. We already made part 1, which is kind of an explanation of why I'm doing the videos in the first place, and what I'm trying to get across. Part 2, I'm going to focus. Parts 2, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be talking about everything that led up to about the age of 10 years old, from the time I was born all the way through the age of 10. And then every part after that will be, well, I'll explain that to you guys when I get to that. So most of you know I'm 46 years old, which would put me in the late 60s. Born in 68, October 13th, 1968, in Dallas, Texas. My mom's name was Margaret Louise Williams. I have no current contact with her or know whereabouts of where she is at this time. Would I like to know? Absolutely. And I'll talk more about that later down the line. My dad's name was Harold Wayne Coleman. He has passed away in 2001 or 2002, I believe. As far as siblings, I had one younger and one older brother. My younger brother is mentally retarded and really barely even knows who I am. My older brother, Alvin, I do have some contact with. He's actually on my Facebook page, and is really the only contact I have to our family life, what family we did have at the time. I was born in Dallas, Texas, and I think I was born in Methodist Hospital in Dallas. I think that's one of the hospitals there, and yeah. A lot of, what happened to me as a kid was very sad. But when you guys listen to this, I don't want you to think any more or think any less of me by the things I say, because believe it or not, I'm not the only one that these things have happened to. There are millions of kids throughout the country, throughout the world, who these things have happened to in the past and are happening to now. And so, I've learned a lot having gone through all this, but by making these videos, it allows me to heal and to get past a lot of the grief that I went through growing up. So, what I'm going to talk about first was really my mom. The things I had remembered most was my mom. My mom held me the most, and I understand why now that's the case, and that was because, at the time, of the three of us, I had the most the most medical problems. I was the sickest. I was the most fragile of the three of us. I was sick all the time. I mean, but I was, you know, I dealt with a lot more too. I um, was physically abused. I was sexually abused as a child. I was hurt um, in every way imaginable to you and I. Um, a lot of what I'm telling you led up to um, our um, parental rights being terminated because of my parents and my family's lack of uh, caring to, provide us with a good home and a stable lifestyle and all that. But back to my mom. My mom, from what I understand about her, she had when she married my dad, she um, was 28. My dad was 29 at the time. They were about the same age. And my mom had, at the time, started working for a company called Southwestern Bell. I believe that's a telephone company, or was. Uh, she worked for Southwestern Bell for almost 30 years. Like I said, I remember her the most because I was the one. If she was holding uh, any one of us, it was probably me because you know I just seemed to be the one that got the most, or that needed the most care at the time, the most love, and I was just the more needy of the three of us. Um, I I love my mom because of the things that she did for us, but it was my dad's. It was my dad's undoing. I guess you could say that led to us being um, removed from the home by CPS. That's Child Protective Services. Um, when Up until I turned 3, I had been having a lot of stomach and intestinal type problems. I um, I will talk about this in part 2 or part 3. Um, but the problem that I had was a direct result of drinking what you and I know is Drano. Drano is a cleaner that we put in the sink. In part 3, I'll explain to you how that all took place, how that occurred, and why it occurred. It was a terrible, terrible thing. It basically nearly took my life. I am here today by the sure graces of God and the doctors who took care of me back then. I don't know any of those doctors. Just don't. So, like I said, in part 3, I'll talk more about that. Hopefully, get you guys to understand how and why. Well, I don't even know why it took place, but it did. So, be right back.